We're Jen and Stacy Conkey, and we're incredibly excited to have you on this webinar today. We're going to be diving into exactly how to begin investing in real estate to build consistent cash flow and increase your net worth, all from the comfort of home, working fewer than 10 hours a week. I'm going to break the process down to 4 easy to understand steps so that you can get clarity and start working on getting your first cash flow deal. Welcome to the Warriors of Wealth webinar on 4 steps to building a cash flow portfolio. I'm going to show you how you can create a bursting pipeline of potential real estate deals in solid cash flow markets using the power of our simple 4-step system. I'll show you our proven strategy to confidently evaluate deals, make offers, and conduct due diligence. And I'll teach you the exact techniques we use to close deals in any market without ever leaving home. We're going to show you how you can create your own cash flow portfolio even if you don't have any real estate experience. We're also going to show you how to design the best long-term strategy and teach you the key metrics to evaluate when you're researching a market so that you can choose the best market based on your goals and your resources. We're going to show you how to build the ultimate power team, allowing you to be anywhere and run your business, leveraging boots on the ground professionals that are experts in their field. And we're going to show you the entire investing process from A to Z so you can finally stop wondering how you will ever do this and start envisioning what's possible for you in taking action. And all this is while working from your laptop, meaning your bunny slippers if you want, from anywhere in the world. So these are a bunch of screenshots just recently in the last few weeks from our mastermind chat string, showing people just like you who are using our system to launch their business. So Amalia, we were cracking up. She sent in her first offer within, and this is on an apartment building, within 2 weeks of starting the apartment mastermind. And here's a screenshot of her just totally freaking out. She was like, I need a Xanax. Brad and Marlene had an accepted offer on a 21 unit in North Carolina. They live in Denver, Colorado. They didn't go there. It's remote. And then Lupe got a great little performing duplex under contract in Indianapolis. She never left her house in Maryland in doing this project. There are 4 steps we follow that enable us to run our real estate business remotely. Select, investigate, close, and manage. The new way of investing is doing everything from your laptop, from wherever you are. So let's get into the 4 steps. Step 1 is select. You're going to be selecting your strategy, selecting your market, selecting your team, and selecting your deals. So let's get started with strategy. Let's talk about the difference between straight cash flow versus the BRRRR strategy. Now, the BRRRR strategy stands for buy, renovate, rent, and refinance. Let's talk about straight cash flow first. With straight cash flow, it's simple. You put down your down payment and you close. You get immediate cash flow at closing, and it's perfect if you have capital but limited time. With the BRRRR strategy, you're going to buy a fixer, renovate it, rent it out, and refinance it. Now, this strategy takes more time and effort, but you also make more profit. It takes more time before the property cash flows, but it's great if you want to increase your net worth in addition to building cash flow, and you don't mind adding value through improving the property. So for example, let's say you buy a duplex fixer-upper for $50,000 and you put $50,000 of rehab into it. Newly renovated, let's say the property is now worth $130,000. You've added $30,000 to your net worth, and when you refinance the property, the refi will be based on the new higher value, which oftentimes allows you to pull some or all of your initial investment back out, and then you repeat the whole process. Next, you'll select your market. There are certain things that we evaluate when selecting a market. Does it meet the 1% rule? Population growth, employment growth trends, and the city comprehensive plan. The 1% rule tells you whether you're in a cash flow market or not. For example, let's say you're buying a property for $150,000. The monthly rent needs to be at least 1% of that amount, or $1,500. If you're buying multifamily, that gets so much easier. Think of buying a duplex for $150,000. Each side rents for $750 per month. There's your $1,500. You've met the 1% rule. You're in a cash flow market. Next, let's talk about population growth. With population growth, we want to see that the population is either holding steady or increasing. The reason that we're looking for steady or increasing population growth is that you have a higher risk of vacancy loss when you have fewer renters for your units. If the population is declining, you're increasing the risk that when you have a vacancy, that your unit is going to stay empty longer because there's just fewer people there to fill them. And that's definitely not what we want. If you're looking at unemployment rates, you want to see those rates going down. And if you're looking at employment rates, you want to see them at least holding steady and ideally increasing. Next, you want to review the city's comprehensive plan, which is usually found on their website. The comprehensive plan allows you to see what areas the city is focusing on over the next 5 to 20 years, as far as investment and infrastructure. Next, you'll be selecting your team. You'll be selecting your team local to the market you're looking to invest in. All of these team members are first identified via researching online, and then you follow up with phone calls to interview, compare, and select. So where are we going to find all of these power team members? Well, for investor-friendly realtors, you're going to look at websites like Redfin, Zillow, LoopNet, and Realtor.com. For licensed insured general contractors, you're going to look at websites like Home Advisor, Angie's List, House, Porch, Thumbtack. You could even get referrals from your real estate agent. The important thing with contractors is that you make sure that they are licensed, insured, and experienced. Next, we're looking for ASHI certified home inspectors. Now, ASHI is spelled A-S-H-I, and that stands for the American Society of Home Inspectors, and it is one of the top certifications that home inspectors can get. And you can find them at ashi.org. For lenders, it depends on what your strategy is. If your strategy is to do a straight buy and hold, you can go through a conventional lender, which would just be your local bank or a regular mortgage broker. If you're going to go the first strategy and you're getting funding, you're going to probably find a hard money lender. Conventional lenders don't lend on fixer uppers, so we go through hard money because they'll lend on the junk or property that we're buying and improving. So with hard money lenders, the best way to find them is good old Google, like hard money lenders in whatever city you're in, whatever state you're in. Another place that you can find lenders, both conventional and hard money, is through a website on the Connected Investors site called Kix.com, and that's www.cix.com. And that's a great place to put in information about what kind of financing you're looking for, the numbers of the deal, and then you have lenders calling you, basically saying, hey, we're interested in your deal. Next is experienced property managers. One of the best ways that you can start with getting a property manager is asking your realtors for any referrals of property managers that they've worked with that they like. Another way is going to Google and looking for property managers in that city. And even Facebook is a great resource. For insurance agents, you can use national companies, like there's one called NREIG, and it stands for National Real Estate Insurance Group, and they insure properties all over the country. Or you can go to Google and look for local insurance agents local to where the market is. For title companies, it really depends on whether it's customary for the buyer to choose them or the seller to choose them, and every market is different, and your realtor can let you know. If it's customary for the seller to choose it, when you write up your offer, it will actually already be in the contract because it's going to be in the MLS notes for your realtor. If it's the buyer's choice and your realtor is asking you, who do you want to use? I usually just put back on them and say, well, who do you already have a relationship with? So next, you're going to be selecting your deals. You'll be getting your investor-friendly realtors to send you leads. We're looking for both MLS-listed properties and off-market properties. And you're looking to build multiple relationships with realtors local to your chosen market. This creates massive deal flow because each realtor has their own area of focus and their own relationships with potential off-market deals for you. The next step is investigate. The investigate step includes analyzing the deal and calculating the right offer, submitting your offer, due diligence, and renegotiating the deal if necessary. To analyze the deal and calculate your offer, you'll need some information. You'll need market rents. Rentometer is a great resource, ballpark renovation figures, after rehab value, and projected expenses. Using tools like Rentometer will show you what other similar properties are renting for, which helps you more accurately project what your cash flow will be once you're done renovating. Determining ARV, or after rehab value, is important for knowing what the property will be worth once you're done renovating it, and it will help you project how much of your capital you'll be able to get back when you refinance. When you submit your offer, you'll be submitting your offer terms to your realtor to write up on a state contract. Your offer terms will include purchase price, earnest money deposit, inspection period, and closing period. Now, this is an area that hangs up nearly all new investors. They may get through everything else, then when it comes time to actually submit the offer, they get paralyzed with fear. You have 10 or more days, whatever you asked for, to find out what is real about the property. During this period of time, your earnest money deposit will be held by the title company. And if you decide that you don't like the deal, you can back out for the purpose of inspection. If your offer is accepted, then you'll be jumping into the due diligence phase. Here, you'll be verifying your ARV, verifying market rents, verifying your rehab costs, researching your property expenses, such as insurance, taxes, and property management, getting a home inspection, and renegotiating the deal if the numbers just don't work. So this is the time where you're going to dive deeper into all of the assumptions that you use to calculate your offer. Well, so why don't we do all of this before we make the offer so we can make the exact right offer? Because you're going to miss out on the deals over and over and over. Either you've done a lot of work only to find out the seller isn't willing to take the price you're offering, or while you're sitting there analyzing the deal to death, someone else is making the offer knowing they'll have an inspection period to figure out whether it's actually a good deal. So we always do the free due diligence first. So free due diligence is looking at sales comps, looking at rental comps, reviewing any financial statements from the seller if it's a performing property, and researching expenses like getting an updated insurance quote, calling the tax assessor's office to find out if the taxes will change, calling property managers to get a quote on their services, and calling and getting renovation quotes from a general contractor. If all of that free due diligence pans out, then we order the home inspection. So if everything is good, you're moving forward. But if not, if everything is not good, now it's time to renegotiate the deal. If the seller agrees, cool, you're moving forward. If they don't agree, well, you simply back out and you get your earnest money deposit back. The next step in the process is close. There are two parts to the close step, pre-closing and closing. With pre-closing, this is the time when you pretty much start herding cats. It's that time between when the due diligence ends and you actually close on the property. There is a ton of juggling that happens during this time. This is where you're truly a highly paid project manager. Now, there are 5 key team members that you're coordinating during this time: your realtor, your lender, the title company, your insurance agent, and the contractor. So some of the roles that these team members play is like your realtor is going to be there to help you with possibly letting your GC back in if he needs to go take measurements, or letting the appraiser in so they can get the appraisal done. Your lender, this is the time where you're coordinating the appraisal and inspection for the lender. So with the lender, you're going to be sending in your documents like your application, driver's license, LLC documents, proof of down payment, the scope of work, which would be like the GC quote. You should be prepared for lots of seemingly random requests, particularly in the final week. As much as they have all this time to close, for whatever reason, everything seems to happen at the last possible moment. With the title company, they're going to be pulling records to make sure there's no liens on the property and that the title can be transferred clean. Title companies offer title insurance, which means if you find out later that there's a lien on the property and they didn't catch it, they're the ones that have to pay for it. So you should always get title insurance. And if you're getting a loan, your lender will actually require it. The title company is also going to be asking for information such as your LLC documents, insurance, lender contact, etc. With insurance, you should have already gotten some insurance quotes, but now you're making a decision about which insurance company to choose, the coverage, etc. Your lender might have some specific requirements about the type of coverage, which boxes to be checked, etc. So just plan on doing some coordinating when you get to that point. The contractor, if applicable, if you're rehabbing, this is the time where you're getting all of the GC documents you'll need: their license, insurance, finalized scope of work, GC contract, the draw schedule, etc. You're going to be calling the references, verifying previous work done, doing background check, and making sure everything checks out. You'll schedule the start date with your GC for the date after closing so that you don't have a delay. And then you're going to contact your inspector and touch basis about doing draw requests. All right, now let's talk about closing. So the title company is going to likely ask for some last minute things. So just be prepared. And like I said, everything seems to happen at the last possible minute. Now let's talk about closing remotely. So you may be doing a deal in your home market, but the way that Jen and I have always done business is we always have done it remotely. We live where we want to live, which is San Diego, California, but we invest where it makes sense, which is all over the country, but definitely not here. All right, so closing remotely, what that looks like is the title company is either going to email you the file so that you can print it, and then you go get certain documents notarized, and they'll let you know which ones. and then you FedEx the whole package back to them. Or the title company will have a mobile notary come to you and have you sign in their presence. Then the notary leaves you with a copy of the package and overnights the full package to the title company, and you wire in your closing funds. Step 4 is manage. So congratulations, you've closed. Your realtor will get keys to the property. You'll be managing the rehab, which is calls, FaceTime, Zoom with your contractor 1 to 2 times per week. You're going to have your home inspector review any work completed by the GC before you release funds. You'll be hiring a property manager to manage the property, and then you'll be reviewing monthly reports. Now, some of these steps obviously refer to if you're buying fixers and doing the renovation. If you're buying a straight cash flow property, it pretty much goes, you've closed, congrats, realtor will get your keys, your property manager you would have already hired during your due diligence period, and then you'll be reviewing monthly reports. So you'll be skipping the manage the rehab and using your inspector to review the rehabber's work. I want to show you just for a moment, like, what does momentum look like? These are all people that are in our mastermind. So Kahisha says, being a part of the program has helped me move out of my comfort zone. Jen and Stacy hold me accountable, which I've needed for years, and we do. Marlene says, I like the weekly calls that we have together as a group, and we work together as a team to analyze situations, and I recommend anyone to join this program. Brad, he says, the best part about this group is just the camaraderie and the support from multiple coaches and my peer investors. My possibilities are endless now. So I hope that was helpful, not only the information, but also for you to see what's possible for you from other people who are just like you.
If you do want to get into multifamily real estate investing, but you're not sure what's the first step, the second, or the third, you can click the link in the description below and a member of our team will hop on the phone with you and talk about your goals, your resources, and how we can hold your hand and get you to where you want to be.
The other thing we want to tell you is that we have a free Facebook group. So if you want to be around people that are like you, on the journey, looking to learn, come join us in that Facebook group. We do tons of free education and content there. And every week, Jen and I make ourselves available for a question and answer session. It's live, it's in Zoom, we're face-to-face. You gotta come to the Facebook group, register, go to events, and then we'll see you there. But any questions you have about real estate, we're there to answer them for you.